Well, we've spent a lot of the summer talking about the bigger acquisitions of the Chicago Bears and decisions and draft picks and even the bigger players that we expect to hit leaps and develop this season. Sometimes we don't talk enough about the underrated moves that actually could provide a lot of the runway for the Chicago Bears during the season. On today's episode, we're going to break down the underrated offseason moves that the Chicago Bears did make. They're going to make a real big impact during the 2026 season. Plus, it is Saturday. It means we're going to dive into the mailbag and respond to your voicemails. All that and more right after this. What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. First of all, I want to tell you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well. We got a goal of getting to 30,000 subscribers on this channel by the start of the 2026 season. We can only do that with you guys. About 44% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel that do watch us daily. I get it. We post every day. We're in your algorithm. You may think you're subscribed, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free. Subscribe. Help us get to our goals. In exchange for that, we'll be delivering you the best daily content on podcasts or in YouTube form covering our Chicago Bears. With that said, let's go ahead and get into it, man. So I want to talk about four of the bigger moves that are underrated that happened this offseason for the Chicago Bears. And then we're going to dive into the mailbag. The first one I want to talk about is the Bears hiring Eric Studesville as the new running back coach. Now, this is one that, it could go easily overseen, especially with the Bears running room looking so good last season. But I do think with that we'll start seeing this pay off a little bit more in higher dividends as things go on, not only because Monangai, I think, is going to make a major leap this year. Go back to my episode I did on Thursday. The Cognac Boys took over on Friday. That I did on Thursday talking about Monangai and why he can make a jump and even prove himself to be more of a running back one this upcoming year. But when you look at the Bears, even having, guys like Brittain Brown, who they retained, who we're actually going to talk a little bit about this list, Coleman Bennett as well as a guy that's on the Chicago Bears roster that I think as an undrafted free agent has a chance to, again, not make or break this team, but I do think he has a chance to be a role player on this Bears team and provide some extra depth in that running back room, mainly because of the way that he has a little bit of extra depth and brings a skill set that we don't have as far as the size and still maintaining that ability to catch passes out the backfield. Coleman Bennett is somebody to watch, but the Bears bringing in Eric Studesville as the running back coach, it pays off really well, right? Of course, Eric Bieniemy left to go and be the offensive coordinator of his former team, the Kansas City Chiefs. And Ben Johnson did really well hiring Studesville, who spent nearly a decade with the Miami Dolphins, coaching running backs there. He coached 7,000-yard rushers in the last 3 decades. So I think just looking at how it benefits DeAndre Swift, Monangai, future guys like Brittain Brown, Coleman Bennett, anybody we draft or bring in here to develop, having your positional coaches and having guys that have done the job for years and years and have that standard, that set, you could trust the guys that are going to come out of that room when you have somebody like that. Eric Studesville is a very established running back coach and somebody that I think the Bears did really good in bringing in here, right? Next up, the signing of Cam Lewis as the cornerback here. I think that's something that we have not talked. I have not, and I'm not putting that on Bears fans. I'm saying I have personally not talked about enough, right? Of course, focusing on the acquisitions of Kobe Bryant and Dylan Thieneman, even Malik Muhammad in that secondary. Cam Lewis is a guy that's going to come in here and also, like you talk about the Bears and how injured we were in the cornerback room last year. You want guys that you can trust. You want guys who are going to be able to come in here, run the system, do those type of things. This is a guy that definitely is going to be able to do that. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's going to be a guy that definitely helps raise the standard in there, the floor, I would say. That's the kind of word that I want to use. He's going to raise the floor in there. And with the secondary taking a hit of 5 guys exiting in free agency, right? Bringing it between cornerback and safety, bringing in a guy like Cam Lewis, who isn't the best free agent acquisition or signing. He's definitely not that. But I do think he may end up being one of the more important ones for the Chicago Bears. We already seen concerns about Kyler Gordon's health, right? And, that is going to leave a potential for Cam Lewis to have to start at the slot if Kyler Gordon's not ready to go by the start of the season, I know some Bears fans are already got their pitchforks ready if Kyler Gordon's not ready, but I think the Bears brought in a guy that has plenty of experience. He played with the Buffalo Bills, and that's really what you want on the team. You want guys that have experience, guys that can come in and just help you where you need it the most at. And, he's going to compete with Josh Blackwell and Elijah Hicks and stuff like that. But I think even when you look at him over the last 3 seasons, he's played all 17 games each of the last 3 seasons. He's had between 43, 68, and 21 tackles in those seasons as well. Not really a lot. He only has 1 interception on his career, but over the last 3 seasons, 4 passes deflected each of the last 2, and 2 the season prior to that one in 2023. So this is a guy that's really functional in what he brings. And bringing in a 7-year vet into this Bears team to help kind of shore up some things if you have some injuries. The Bears saw how ravaged their cornerback room was last year by injuries, and they did a good job of bringing in a veteran to help prepare for that in case that ends up being the issue as well. And while they may not have to go out and find a C.J. Garner-Johnson this year or Nashawn Wright, they brought in somebody who can come in, fit what you have going on here, and I think be a lot more functional. But let's not get off the cornerback room yet, because another underrated move that the Chicago Bears did make is Malik Muhammad in the 4th round. Malik Muhammad was an absolute steal potentially in the 4th round. Now, I say potentially, not because I doubt him or the skill set that he showed in college, just because you want to see it in the NFL. College production doesn't always equal NFL production. That's just the reality of it, right? And I do think that this is a guy that could end up being a day 1 starter. He's going to come in here. He's going to compete with Tyrique Stevenson. And I think you want to bring in competition with Tyrique Stevenson. Terrell Smith has been there, and a guy that can, they competed for the starting quarterback 2 role their first years. But other than that, Tyrique has been the starter. They split a lot of the snaps. Malik Muhammad is a guy that could disrupt all of that. He could come in and push it with his ability to potentially be a shutdown, which he was in college. We'll see if that translates over to the NFL. If you have Malik Muhammad and Jalen Johnson that both can shut down a side of the field, if Malik ends up developing into that ends up being huge. And even I'll say this for a matter too, listen, you could bring in the long-term replacement of Jalen Johnson's contract demands get to. I know we're a little ways off of that, and I hate saying stuff like that because I know there are already Bears fans ready to bring out the pitchforks when it comes to Jalen Johnson, but he's healthy this year. And I think even with that, Malik Muhammad learning behind Jalen Johnson is going to be huge there as well. Malik is a guy that could end up being not only a great asset in the secondary that also needs the help, but he could end up being one of the biggest steals in the 2026 draft, and especially if he ends up developing with the way that it looks like he can progress. And I say, again, not all potential is not always realized, so just because he has the potential to be really great, it doesn't mean that he will be. But I think that all he can do is handle what's in front of him. And this is a guy that is driven. He's a guy that's passionate. And, he's going to have to learn Dennis Allen's scheme, which gets very creative for your defensive backs. It puts a lot on your defensive backs, right? So there's going to be a huge test for him there just to learn the system, learn the scheme, and adapt to it. But I would not be surprised if Malik Muhammad pushes for that starting spot, even in training camp some, but definitely during the season. Do not let Tyrique Stevenson have kind of the disappointment that we've seen from him at different points of time over his career, the inconsistencies, because you got a dog now there for you. You got a guy at your position. You got dogs behind you that's ready to take your spot if you slip. So, and I think that pressure, it either what's the saying? Either makes diamonds or bursts pipes. And that's what this is. This is a pressure-making year for Tyrique Stevenson. And that was even before they drafted Malik Muhammad. Now with Malik Muhammad in here, it gets even stronger in regards to that because you have a guy that's younger than you, that's been healthy, right? And has the capability to be a better, man-to-man coverage cornerback than you. And let's see what you can do with it. So overall, we'll see what happens there. Malik Muhammad is definitely a guy that I think we can look back on and say that it was not only an underrated move, but it's still in the draft. And then another guy that I said I was going to talk about at the top of it, Brittain Brown. Being able to sign Brittain Brown to a reserve future contract, I think is huge. Roschon Johnson in his role here is saying that that's in question is one of the most obvious statements that you can make with the Chicago Bears, right? The running back 3 job is up for grabs, and Roschon Johnson may not even make it out of training camp. But you have guys, you need that depth behind Monangai and DeAndre Swift. We've seen it. You need it in the NFL. Brittain Brown's a guy that, he scored his first touchdown. DeAndre Swift was out injured, which was good. He put up a nice performance on 5 carries and 37 yards and that touchdown. And I do think that Brittain Brown, along with Coleman Bennett that I talked about are coming here to push for that running back 3 role. We're already seeing Roschon Johnson play more special team snaps than he had carries last season, right? Like, that's just the reality of it. So that position's definitely open. And now it comes down to, you're looking at Brittain Brown, you're looking at Coleman Bennett, and you need depth behind those guys. I know that Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift were a great backfield last year. They weren't just good, they were great. Once they got rocking and rolling, they were great. But you want to add other dynamics to that. And Brittain Brown has a chance to come in here and make a name for himself. He was a guy that stood out a lot in preseason last year. Now you have an opportunity for him to do that again in training camp, because you're not going to play your running backs a lot in preseason. You're going to see a little bit of them, but they're definitely going to be more protective of that. But at 6'1", 205 pounds, much like I said with Coleman Bennett, Brittain Brown offers a different physical makeup than the running backs that we have there. And so I think that's a really good opportunity for him. Now, and to be honest, he's had 5 career carries his whole career, and that's from 2002 when he played with the Las Vegas Raiders to 2005 when he played with the Chicago Bears. So it's not like you have a huge sample size for him, but don't overlook this kid, man. That's all I can say. Do not overlook this kid. And I do think the running back 3 battle is a battle that you need to watch out, and that's going to play out in training camp. It's going to play out in preseason, and you'll see all these guys have different levels of opportunity to see what they can bring. But enough of me yapping. It is Saturday. That means it is a mailbag day here at Chicago Bears Central, even though not my usual mailbag day. I'm not going to lie. Doing the mailbag on a Saturday feels weird. But we got these 4 voicemails we're going to get into. This one's from Ant.
Yo, what up, fellas? This is Ant, the Army vet, calling in. I know I've been gone for a couple weeks. I had the opportunity to go on vacation. So, enjoyed that. I actually get a rare opportunity to go again this coming week. This Friday, I'm going to be going on another vacation. So, life. Now I'm reaping the rewards for it. But anyway, I just wanted to call in. A few things. I just got caught up on all the episodes. But one thing I keep hearing about is the defense. And how everybody's worried about the defense, rightly so, especially the defensive line. But myself, I'm going to be an optimist on the defense. Simply because it's not just them betting on it and better coaching and everything. I look at it from the last 6 quarters, what the defense did in the last 6 quarters of football games that matter. They weren't shut down, but the second half of the Packers game in the wild card, and then the entirety of the Rams game in the divisional, like, they did great when it came to stopping the run, getting at the quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, the defense, they just play lights out. So if I ain't going to say build on it, but if they continue with something like that, then I'm not too worried about the defense. And if they go from 25th ranked defense to top 15, oh my God, look out, you know what I'm saying, NFL, because his offense is ready to roll, you know what I'm saying? The other thing I want to talk about is the wide receiver 3. I have a funny feeling that Ben Johnson might use that as a rotational thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Khalif Raymond, elusive with the ball in his hand. You got Xavier Thomas, speed threat with the ball in his hand. Then you got Jahade, who you get the ball in his hand. I mean, he's lanky, he got route running, he can do a bunch of different things. I think he'll do real good with the ball in his hand. And then you got the last thing I want to talk about is Cole Kmet, and everybody thinking about Cole Kmet might be traded and everything like that. I think the opposite. When they drafted Sam Roush, I think they drafted Sam Roush to replace what Cole Kmet was last season, so that they can open up Cole Kmet this season, along with Colston Loveland. So with that dual tight end receiving threat, those rotational wide receiver 3s, not to mention we got Roman Luther that's going to ball out, and then that backfield, crazy work. And if we can get JT, oh man, game, set, match, Super Bowl in hand. But that's how I feel. Just want to catch up with you guys. As always, one more week till see ball. Start time up, right down. Y'all have a good one. What'd you say, son?
It works. And where's Matt?
The defense definitely had its moments last season. Like no doubt about it. The defense had its moments where it took care, got teams off the field on third down when we needed it. It had good drives, those type of things. But the problem is that you can't live off moments just because the same way you can't live off takeaways, right? And I think what the Bears did this season in the acquisitions and the additions that they made to the Chicago Bears defense is that it's going to move them from more than just a team that's living in the moments and living off turnovers to a team that has more consistency down and down, play to play, and possession to possession. I think that's going to be a big key here, is getting more out of that for the Chicago Bears defense. And as far as the wide receiver 3 battle, I agree. I think I said that on a couple of episodes ago. It's a toolbox, right? That's the way to look at it. The wide receiver 3 is a bullpen or toolbox, whatever you want to say it as. And Ben Johnson's going to pull out what he needs to determine on that matchup that they're playing any given week. Right now, they're going to have somebody that's named as the wide receiver 3 and somebody that starts as the wide receiver 3. But I think when you go into look at the individual matchups and the drives and the play calls and the situations, that's going to be determined. We got 3 wide receivers here who all bring a little something different, in Khalif Raymond, Jade Walker, and Xavion Thomas. And now we just got to see how Ben Johnson's going to use that toolbox, and I'm really excited to see it. All right, let's get into this next voicemail, man. This one's from DeJuan.
Hey, Cognac Boys, Bobby, C-Dub, Steve-O, Big Kev, Mike. It's your boy DeJuan from the low end of Chicago calling in. I was calling in because I was listening to, these people talk about Chicago Bears. I come to y'all every day. It's hard to catch y'all when y'all live, but I tune in to every episode that y'all have, man. I was listening to this 104.3 Sports Chicago, and they compared Caleb Williams to Kyler Murray, talking about Caleb Williams is Kyler Murray 2.0. My question is, I understand everybody talking about the draft class that he came in with. I'm trying to figure out why they keep saying Caleb Williams would be the 4th quarterback from that draft class to get picked. All right, let's talk about it. Jaden Daniels, they say, should be number 1. Okay. They all been in the league 2 years. Jaden Daniels had the first good year, second year wasn't shit. Caleb Williams, first year wasn't bad. He just had a fucked up team around him, but his second year was good. Drake May, bad first year. Second good year. He got them to the Super I ain't gonna say he got them to the Super Bowl, but Vrabel pushed them as a team to get to the Super Bowl. And then you got Bo Nix with Sean Payton. He didn't have a good year. He's still throwing interceptions. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to figure out why they keep talking about Caleb is the 4th best quarterback when they all had one bad year and one good year in their 2 years in the league. All of them coming into their 3rd year. I'm just trying to figure that out because I understand there's a lot of people out here want to hate on Caleb and his nails and him being emotional and shit and all that. But come on now, ball is ball, man. You know what I mean? Like, what have you done for me lately? Everybody want to go off these Jaden Daniels first year. The motherfucker ain't did shit his second year. And he still ain't finna do shit coming back into his 3rd year because of injuries. I don't think he finna be what they think he is. He too damn skinny. That shit catching up with him, getting his ass fucked up. Outside of that. And I see all these Jonathan Taylor to the Chicago Bears, all these little pop-up, clickbait shits, man. This shit's stupid as hell. As far as the pass defense, everybody talking about Josh Sweat. Fuck all that. We waited too late to get a defensive end. If they pick one up, they pick one up. But I want to see these motherfuckers develop. I want to see in the preseason that the teachings from the coaches is working. And I want to see speed, fluidity, and goddamn camaraderie when it comes to the goddamn defense. The offense, I feel they go pick up where they left off at. But at the end of the day, I'm just...
First of all, I got to point this out, y'all. Like, I appreciate all the love. Y'all intros get way... Y'all intros is longer than the intro I do. And listen, this is the thing that I'm doing. I got to hold y'all accountable. If you have to leave a second voicemail because you ran over your 3 minutes and it was because your intro was super long, I'm not playing the second part of the voicemail. You're going to have to deal with whatever you left off at with those 3 minutes because it's just too long. You don't have to name us individually. Like, we understand, we appreciate the love, but we're a squad here. You don't have to call me out individually or any of them. Just say the team. Like, shout out the team. You don't have to get into these long-ass intros, my boy. It cuts off from the time that you have and you were actually cooking with something. I just had to point that out. But listen, the doubt around Caleb is nothing new, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's just the reality of it. It's not going to go anywhere, and it's going to continue to be there, and people are going to use it for whatever reason. Now, I do think Caleb Williams has legitimate reasons for criticism. The completion percentage, missing the gimmies, those type of things. There is legitimate reasons and room that he has to grow as a quarterback. No doubt about that. And I do think people use some of that to kind of overstate where he is, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Caleb, Williams is going to go out there. He's going to play. He's going to win football games. He's going to keep developing. He's going to keep growing. And as long as that stuff happens, it doesn't matter if they want to rank him 4th in his draft class, 5th in his draft class. I don't care if they want to rank him dead last in his draft class. What is he doing on the football field for us? That matters more than some talking head on in national media saying anything about our Chicago Bears. And that's what it comes down to. The thing I've always said, let it be what happens on the football field be the ultimate determining factor of it all. And that's the part of it, right? And Caleb is going to go into the season and he's going to have success. He's going to keep growing. And that's the thing that matters. I don't give a fuck what anybody in the national media got to say about Caleb Williams, period. All right, let's get into this next one, man. This one's from Ja.
Well, what that shit do, fellas? Boy, Ja from Arizona. To tap it in again with the fellas. You know how we got to do. You know how we rocking early morning on my way to my first HVAC call, or second HVAC call. You know I have to tap in with the fellas, man. I'm leaving the office, and I just want to share this with y'all. I know y'all know. I know we make jokes. The Arlington Bears. Well, why do these motherfuckers really think that we about to, like, I get it. We moving Chicago. We're moving stadiums from one place to another. Honestly, it's well needed. So everyone knows that I'm a Bears fan at work, and they always, how do you feel about Arlington Bears? How do you feel about Hammond? Shut the fuck up! I feel good, just like I felt the last past 50 years. Well, y'all, you get my fucking point. I always feel good. I mean, when we fucking suck, I still feel good and I'm still rocking with the Bears. So you think I'm about to just stop rocking with them because they move in fucking stadiums? We're not even changing our fucking name. The next person, how that clip go by a dude that was in a barbershop. The next motherfucker that talks about you, the next motherfucker that talk about some Indiana Bears, I'm going to slap the shit out you. I'm about to just commence to slapping the shit out you, bro. You know why? Because you need it, bro. Everybody keep on talking about, I don't give a fuck if we move to motherfucking Wakanda and not the Illinois one. I don't give a fuck if we move to Asgard. As long as the Bears is out there playing the home of chip, which we be doing next year, man, I don't give a fuck. I don't. So all y'all motherfuckers that's talking about Chicago Bears is leaving, they gonna be in here. Shut the fuck up. Go, like Haize said, go touch some grass or something. I'll have y'all motherfuckers act like y'all just been cutting grass all your life and you don't know no better. You're just dumb, stupid. Like, just flat out stupid. There ain't no other way to say it. Stupid. Anyways, my bad, fellas. I had to get my little morning run out. But, I don't know how we do. Y'all know what the fuck it is. It's Chicago up and bear down, baby.
First of all, I gotta say, bro, it's not that. Don't let them get you that upset, bro. Like, as even as petty as I am, as much as I flip out sometimes, it ain't worth all that. The Chicago Bears are going to be the Chicago Bears. Regardless of where the stadium are, they're still going to be the Chicago Bears. People like to have fun with, the Hammond Bears. No, they're still going to be the Chicago Bears. The Arlington Bears still going to be the Chicago Bears. And that's it. Where they play is where they play. It's the reality of it. They're going to be, 30 minutes from where the last stadium is? It's not that big of a deal. And, at the end of the day, I want the Bears to have the opportunity as a franchise to do what they need to do. Soldier Field is an absolute historic place. And when you go into Soldier Field, you feel something different. But you can't lie and say the Bears didn't need a new stadium. And whether the state of Illinois drag their feet or whatever it is, this is the situation we are. Wherever the Bears play, guess what? I'm going to be there supporting my team because that's what it is. I'm a Bears fan. I'm going to be there, period. All right, let's get into this last one, man. This one's from Milk.
Yo, Chicago Bears Central. I'm Cognac Boys. What it do is Milk in the Dark Knight from Virginia Beach, Virginia, calling again on this beautiful, hot, and very humid Friday evening. As always, let's go ahead and get into it. Number one, I just wanted to piggyback on some things that y'all said during the weekend as far as who will be the X Factor. My honest opinion, the X Factor, I would say on the offensive side, of course, going to be Caleb Williams because, of course, he's supposed to be the face of the franchise, which he is, and that entire offensive line, and especially if we keep all the talent that we have, I don't believe in just upping and trading, going after someone and we don't have the funds for it. And some of the fan base, I'm not all, they like to go ahead and be like, okay, there's a rumor out, let's go ahead and go after him. I was like, okay, that's nice, but what money? Because we're already strapped for cash as is, having to pay out the rookies and sign them to deals and current deals that we're currently on, and then we still got to look forward towards the next offseason when Caleb gets to get paid. So a lot of fans are in la-la land when it comes to, okay, this next athlete, yeah, if we get him in, then he'll do all of this. Yeah, they might do all that, but you still got to take up what the cost is going to be as far as that's concerned. A lot of fans don't understand that. I'm not, you know, getting on anyone's opinion or anything. I'm just stating the obvious. On the offensive side, like I said, it'll be Caleb, and I would say keep all the receivers. I will definitely keep our running back room. I'm still interested in seeing how Brittain Brown's going to turn out, especially since we got a new running backs coach. On the defensive side, the X factor is definitely going to be this new secondary that we have, since the old secondary, they're now playing for different teams now. So I'm really interested on how this new secondary on the defensive side is going to gel and work together and everything. And of course, we're getting close to the OTAs and preseason, and then the regular season will be starting up very soon. And then 3, definitely the thing that I wanted to touch back on is the quarterback head coach relationship. This team, I can't even recall when we had that kind of tandem, though. You know, not since Bill Belichick and Tom Brady for the Patriots have we had anything like that. But I'm just glad that this team is turned the corner. The coaches changed. I'm excited for this season. I'm just ready, just like everybody else, for how the season's going to turn out. And, you know, knock on wood, praying that, you know, everyone to stay healthy and everything. But, yeah, I'm just glad that we hired Ben Johnson. He wanted to come here. He's doing the right thing. And I'm glad that they didn't go with Mike Vrabel, because, of course, you see what's going on with him off season and all that other personal stuff. So I'm glad that we didn't go for that. But anyway, hope y'all have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy the weekend. As always, Chicago up, bear down. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. I'll holler.
It triggers fans every time I say this, right? And I think because people think that I mean that towards them. And if you feel triggered by what I'm about to say, then that tells me how you view yourself. But the majority of fans are casual. That's it. The majority of fans, and that's something I had to learn in doing this job. They don't think about contracts. They don't think about the future implications of a contract or future extensions. They hear a rumor, they see a name, they see how it's going to help this team, and that's what they focus on. I think that it becomes a problem when people let the national media rumors become their opinion. And, I mean, you can't control other people in that. It is what it is. But once you realize that the majority of fans, and this is not just for Bears, this is across all sports, the majority of people are casuals. They don't have time to talk about scheme and talk about what happens on this down and the difference. Well, they don't have that time. They don't have that capability. And really, to be honest, they don't have the desire to have that depth. They want to go watch the football game. They have names that they know, and they want to see those names on the team. It comes down to a lot more than that, and you have to think about more than that. And that's what we try to bring as far as color in doing this job. Now, as far as the X factors, there's so many potential X factors on this team, and it's up to the coaching staff to really get all those guys on the right page, the same page, and have us, put those guys in the best position. And as long as you do that, regardless of the X factors or whatever you want to call them, they're making an impact for this team. We have so many players that can make impacts at different levels, different degrees for this team, and I'm really excited to see this roster take shape, our play style take shape, and everything that comes along with that. I'm really excited about this team. And let's see where the future brings us with it. And that's all that you can really leave it at. This team has a bright future, regardless of what some people will tell you. And then let's just see how this plays out. But we have the right coaching staff that I feel like is going to bring that out of this team. And that's all that matters. But that's my time for today, y'all. But thank you guys for tuning in. Sound off down below on everything you feel, on everything that you heard. What are some underrated moves that you think happened for the Chicago Bears this year? Make sure you guys sound off on that one down below. You can like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Hit that notification bell if you never want to miss an episode or a live stream. You can follow us at Chi Bear Central on every social media platform. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.